My name is Jocelyn McKenna. I study paediatric nursing at a university in Scotland and I'm 18 years old.
What has your journey been like so far?
This is my first ever degree. I came straight from school and did a nursing degree. But what I didn't know at the time of applying is that COVID would be a thing. As nursing students in particular, it's been a very, very different experience to what other nursing students in the past would have probably experienced.
Was there a point of inspiration for you that sent you on this path to becoming a nurse?
My two sisters have a condition called cystic fibrosis, and so we've kind of grown up around hospitals like for the majority of my life and for the whole of their life, and that was like a huge inspiration for me for a very long time. It's just kind of being around that kind of clinical environment. I did a lot of work experience, and I just decided that pediatrics was the one for me. They didn't know if we would actually be able to go into university because we'd be around like patients and vulnerable people as well. So we didn't actually know if we would be delayed as well. People started getting COVID around me. That's when it began to get scary. My flatmate had to go to Glasgow for some reason. She came back and she tested positive for COVID, and that was terrifying. But it was really scary because she was really, really ill, and suddenly we were kind of trapped in this flat of people that we didn't really know that well. And then we've had to isolate 3 times since then because we've been around COVID patients. One of our other flatmates, she was also on a COVID ward, and she caught COVID from one of her patients. That was like pretty intense. We were worried for her safety, we were worried for our safety. And then I think going into the actual COVID wards as well, my perception of COVID completely changed after that. It opened my eyes completely into what healthcare could really be like, to be honest. This has made us build some resilience. I mean, this is probably the most stressful experience we've ever had in our entire lives, and it's probably the most stressful time to go into healthcare anyway.
Do you find yourself maybe potentially getting frustrated with people who don't necessarily appreciate the gravity of the disease?
I was starting my shift on a kind of Friday morning or a Saturday morning, kind of walking through the city centre, and I would still hear all these parties going on. I'd see people walking home drunk in groups, and even though I was so aware that it was students and everyone was just trying to make the best of the university experience, I remember feeling so frustrated because I was literally going to work with people that whose lives had been completely changed by COVID. University is meant to be like the time of your life where like you're making all these new experiences and like you're meeting all these people. But there was definitely a point, and I know that a lot of my flatmates like struggled with this as well, and I think a lot of other students just in general. Every day was just very, very repetitive. I think for a lot of people, like the decline in mental health and kind of the impact of just the like repetitiveness of every day has definitely affected them. And also just having everything online as well is really difficult. There's a bit of stigma around university online so much easier. I think it's actually a lot harder.
Do you look at those experiences and think, I'm glad I've went through them, or do you look at those experiences and think, I never want to think about them again?
I think there was definitely some things that I saw that I've definitely put to the back of my head that they were quite traumatizing and they were difficult to see. As a nurse, like going into that is scary, but then at the same time, the satisfaction and the reward that it gives you as a person at the end of the day, like they'll remember you and you've been there for them in their most stressful point in their entire life. I feel like that was a huge reward, and it's a huge satisfaction as well, just knowing that you've been able to make a difference and been able to help someone. For the majority of patients that were just there for a long stay, they couldn't see their families, and there had been so many patients I'd spoken to that hadn't seen their families for months. It absolutely broke my heart because my experience of hospital is such like a family experience. I felt so honoured that I was able to kind of provide that sense of like communication and talk to my patients. Like our generation of nurses is completely different to any other generation. There's been so many changes, and I think going into that as a student with so many changes happening, it will definitely like make us better nurses and better healthcare professionals like in the future.
For anyone wanting to go down the path that you've went down, what would your advice be to someone who's looking to embark on a career like you have?
Be prepared to do the work. Be prepared to see things that you've never seen in your entire life. Also, just be prepared for like the kind of success that you'll feel and like the absolute like respect that you can give to patients, and it's just brilliant. Like I absolutely love it, and I recommend it to anyone. Like it is so tough and it is hard, and there are times where you'll go on placement and it's like a 4:30 a.m. start, and you'll just be like, I just don't want to get out of bed. But at the end of the day, when you come in and you're like going on the bus home or you're driving home and you see all these people and you can just think like you've got no idea what I saw today, and it's such a rewarding feeling just knowing that you can go home at the end of every single day and know that you've helped someone. And I think that that's just something that everyone wants to feel, and like I find it hard to believe that people don't want to feel that, but it's so rewarding, and I 100% recommend it for anyone that is thinking about it.